Mesmerizing, breathtaking, enchanting. There is no way to properly translate my feelings for the world of Blam. It's probably because I'm a guy of few words, so naturally I enjoyed what it's most famous for: the silence. Captivated by its dark, heavy, and mysterious atmosphere, I fell in love with this lost world, with seemingly no origin or destination. A world frozen in time and space, but a possibility that may be happening right now, out there. Healy's journey, climbing up, stratum after stratum in search of hope. Who says it can't be true? It's like the world drew itself with all these structures of archaic and alien geometries, architectures of cosmic magnitude, or, better yet, it's as if the author himself visited the city and came back, faithfully replicating it on paper. I just wonder how much the ticket cost Nihei Tsutomu. The city is both alive and dead, a futuristic fossil, a breathing but metallic world, an oxymoron left with only the shadow of its former self, rich of history, but an enigmatic one, unanswered, like you knows, told silently, keeping its secrets behind the forgotten corners of the streets, beyond a kilometric, or maybe it's more correct to say mega, giga, terametric bridge on the infinite stairs, the hyperbolic structures still carrying on their purposes, but for who exactly? A silent world that at times dares to let go the faint sound of an electric discharge, of ruins collapsing and falling into the void below, of someone operating old transport units, other times explosions, gigantic engines, even rain. A world incessantly expanding vertically and horizontally, with no limit, and even if it keeps on occupying all the space around, it only seems to create more emptiness, with silence being the coming and going friend accompanying Achille on his quest, in the middle of all the desolation of this artificiality. Nothing is natural anymore, maybe what's left of humanity. Spores of people here and there, sane and not. So, one question rises: what is land? No more than a word, a distant and forgotten memory, an unimaginable fantasy by the races inhabiting the world, isolated, struggling to survive, forced to hide, most of them ignoring the near strata. The world isn't just at war, for reasons stretching through eons. It's drowning in ignorance, drowning in the darkness of its past, but also unwilling to change, lazily living day by day with no care about tomorrow. Barely anyone is struggling to make a change. In such a context, I wasn't simply left with my thoughts, admiring this spectacle. I was lost with them. The silence amplifies the vastness and colossal scale of the world. And on the other hand, it makes the insignificance of all these small lives caught in it laughable. The lives caught in a living machine whose technology has gone out of control, rendering humans obsolete, victims of their own progress and of a particular accident that came along with it, which Blam carefully keeps secret, very rarely giving any little information, not that it would matter. Despite the world constantly changing because of its internal phenomena, it's also motionless, with most of its inhabitants carrying on with their lives only by inertia, through skeins of corridors, the arcades, the titanic labyrinths of tubes and the monumental, even residential buildings, aside from the Silicon Life, the admins and safeguards, who are the only true actors of the bigger story. There is no explanation needed. Sure, it wouldn't hurt to know more, but the mystery is what makes the world feel pre-existing. It's what makes the events of the story feel like only a fraction of the entire picture. In fact, it's like watching some recordings. Not a coincidence that the chapters are named logs. We are mere spectators of a world collapsing on its last legs, with fragmented and faint sparks of life hidden, sick, trying to survive anywhere possible, even through the cracks of a wall, among the filth, the water dripping and the smokes, having to deal with constant threats sent by the central system, or other times with examples of life whose origin is unclear, looking like they have evolved in order to adapt to the new hostile environment. This isn't just big cyberpunk, it's biopunk too, especially with Silicon Life. The insanely attractive combination of flesh and bones with metal, of the robotic skeleton taking different shapes, for combat, any needed function really, even birth. Reading Blum is like diving into a living painting, one abandoned by the artist, a painting that's trying to finish itself on its own, a painting where opening a door or taking a lift can lead to different dystopian worlds, enveloped in the maze of the convoluted concepts of time and space and of imagination. An infected and crumbling world, peaceful but bellicose, with no ground nor sky, incomplete, and that's where there is beauty, in having to imagine, to draw and be ourselves the artist to feel what's missing. Domochevsky and Eco, the observer, Seu, the virus, this creature and that silhouette at the window, they're just there, with their own stories, but there is no need to know more, no reason to be told about them. Leave their stories unknown. This makes this city realistic. There are notes released by the author that explain everything, a collection of answers to all the questions about the lore of Blum. And while I'm crazily tempted, I've saved the link to them. I don't think I'll ever read them. I've seen somewhere even Nietzsche later regretted revealing the truth about this world, and I can tell why. There is something called xenophobia, which is the fear of the unknown. Well, here I think I'll opt for xenophilia. I don't want to know. It's more beautiful this way. Let me imagine.